Someone asked me, what did you do with all that moss you harvested last week? And I have an answer for you right here on my wall of hope with all my mounts. Now they're spaced out throughout the room normally, but I put them all together to give you a little looky-loo at the mounts. I put the moss on top of I have about 23 of my orchids on mounts, maybe 25. I tried to count real quick here. But basically, they are coming back into spring life and growing new shoots. A lot of my dendrobiums, I failed to give them the proper winter rest, which is required for them to grow their strong, healthy roots. So underneath this moss, some of these just have 1 or 2 new roots barely going. And I won't be getting flowers this year because of that. But I learned my lessons. As in life, we learn as we go. But others have never flowered for me, regardless of what container or what moss they are sitting on. Let's look at this bottom one. These are dendrobiums, these 2 bottom ones. Go back out so you can see. And like I told you, I forgot to give them a full winter rest. I was too afraid to do that. I thought I was neglecting them by putting them in cold and forgetting to water them while giving them lots and lots of bright light. Well, I learned from my mistakes. But here we have this girl, and she is producing 2 new canes for me, but I won't be getting any flowers from her. Those little nubs have been there for a year and they dried up. Who do we have here? Dendrobium fangengshanesi. Dendrobium fangen. Yeah, you saw it. I can't pronounce it. And then we have this dendrobium, and that's Lilianum. And she's got a few good roots underneath there and lots of old roots. It is watering day. I need to give them water, so they all do look a little dry. Here we have my BLC yellowbird, and that little growth in the middle is as good as she has ever gotten for me. Not a strong plant. I've had her for a year. Not very happy with her. Here we have one that has new root tip. Do you see that? Right there's a little tip of that root. And she is just growing along. Her roots are deep inside this cocoa husk. It came like this and I've never changed it. She will never get very big. She's a miniature plant. Ascocentropus pusillea. And here I have one of my husband's dendrobiums that he brought home from work. Now this is getting a little floppy. It got sunburned. It needs to grow its roots. It needs more water. But underneath there are all of its old roots. And I do pour water right over them just like I would all my other mounted plants. This is my really fun one. The 2 plants on the end are identical. I ordered 2 by mistake or on purpose. Who knows what the brain was thinking. And the one in the middle is different, but they are all 3 dendrobiums, and they will show up with different colors. The one in the middle, I believe, is not going to be, I think she's white, and the 2 on the end might be pink. Not quite certain. But she had some new roots growing in there. But you can't see them anymore because I covered them up. But that is what we got. The 2 on the end are Dendrobium anosmums. And the one in the middle, like I say, I'm not certain what she is. And I have a few of them that are mounted, but like I say, I'd never put a hook to put them. So after I water them, I drop them back down into the container. She's got a growth there. believe this one is a Parishii, Dendrobium Parishii, yep. And this is the other part of her. I think she had a piece that broke off. Yeah, Dendrobium Parishii. Here I just have one Dendrobium Lena Willianum. Sounds like that was part of that one down there at the bottom. And it just had a couple of very fine roots, so I put her just laying down on top of the moss until she can grow more roots. Do you see them in there? Let me see if I can get it closer. They're white. The root tips right now are white. They haven't been watered. There's some right there. They're very fine roots. Then we have another Phalaenopsis. This is a Bellina. And she came with just 2 roots. And I have to water her daily. She likes the moisture level. And upside down, we have what normally you'd see upright in a pot, glorious and all blushed out with her blooms, a Dendrobium nobile. But when I checked on mine, it was a sad, sad predicament. No, the roots stopped about right here. Most all of them are all dead. So I hung her upside down. She does have some keikis growing off the side of her, probably because she was doing so poorly. She's got 3 keikis, 1, 2, 3, and that's a baby plant growing alongside the original. This is a new cane right here, and this is last year's cane that I broke off when I dropped her. So these big fat ones in the back are her older canes. I purchased her in bloom from a grocery store. I have never seen her rebloom. She was purchased in December of 2019, and again I failed to give her a proper winter rest. So we grew keikis instead of flower buds. Here we have another Dendrobium, and it seems to dry out and do its loss of dry leaves in the spring for me. I've noticed this 2 years in a row. She is a Dendrobium Hyacinth Galamo, but I have yet to see flowers from any of these, but that's okay. I will keep waiting. Up here we have Dendrobium Loda Jessii, and then we have this little tiny one who has got some new growth going on. See that? If you can get that focused in. And this is the Glysocentron Gokusingii, best blue. This little one loves shade, so she hides down below. But I haven't seen any flowers on her either. She is my Orangus zipper. I have 2 Tolumnias, and they are the most stubborn plant for me. Those are the first plants I ever bought when I decided to purchase flowers online. And look at that. Sad, sad, sad. She started at the size of maybe a quarter, and I think in the 2 years she's gotten a little bit fatter, but she's just now, when I put her on with fresh bark, fresh moss, just started this season growing fine, fine roots down in the middle there. Same with her sister. In there, those white little bits, those are how tiny her little roots are. And she's just now, after 2 years, finally growing some roots for me. This is a Maxillaria tenuifolia. Supposedly it's a coconut smelling orchid, but guess what? I have never seen her bloom, but now that she's under the Mars light, perhaps that is the magic that she needs to bloom. It's a mystery. I have 2 of them. I'm not very fond of them. I have two nesters here. One was a branch, a keiki off of the other one here. And this is Dendrobium nestor. And she's getting thicker and thicker canes, but she won't flower for me probably because you know it. I didn't give her a proper winter rest. And then I have a couple of orchids where I put the moss around the top of a plant that had absolutely no roots whatsoever. These two, 1 and 2, Eenie and Meenie, Miney and Mo. BLC Erin Kobashi, Amy Chin, has never have I ever seen a root grow for me. And again, I haven't had luck with Orchids by Hauserman, but apparently some people do. But these are my Orchid by Hauserman ones. I have remossed her, I have checked. This one looks like you might, if you can see in there, she might be trying to grow something, but Lord only knows. She is a BLC Dora Louise Caspin Leah. Never have I ever seen roots and flowers. That is the story of my wall of hope. I call it a wall of hope because it eludes me some days how some people can make magical things grow and some things I just can't get to grow. But I did learn my learning curve was wrong on not giving them a winter rest. But, you know, sometimes it is discouraging. If you want advice on keeping your orchids green, I could probably give you that advice. If you want advice on how to be the perfect orchid grower, that would not be me. Well, with these 2 shoots of new growth, I'm encouraged, even though inside I get discouraged when I don't see progress. But we have these 2 new growths. She hasn't given up, so I can't give up either. And I'm going to keep plugging on, and I hope and I pray that you have a great day and you don't give up hope.